Hey guys, did you hear that there's a Batman game coming out this year? Well, no, not that one. We don't need to remember that one quite yet, but there's a brand new Arkham Shadows. Wait, so they're continuing on the Arkham legacy, but the last time we seen Arkham Batman on the... No, we don't need to worry about all of that stuff. This is going to be a brand new VR experience because Batman Arkham VR worked out so well from the last time that they've got to go ahead and make another one, but it's going to be exclusive to the Meta platform. So I'm sure this is going to work out incredibly well for Rocksteady, and they aren't going to be closed by the end of the year. No, 1000%. This is definitely going to be the right move for them. But yeah, Arkham Shadows, it was another one of the games that ended up getting announced during the, pretty decent Summer Games Fest. Not going to lie. Like, I understand that, and even I made a couple of videos on it, and it's like, when it comes to announcements, pretty good. Now, what the games that they announced, well, it's pretty trash, but back when everybody was lamenting and joking over the presentation style of E3 from the late 2000s, early 2010s, when it would just be more grandstanding for certain plastic boxes and less about the games that actually made people care about those plastic boxes, well, everybody would just point to the kind of shows that we just recently got, where we just want games announcements and just let us know what's coming down the pipe relatively quickly. It's just, well, the quality of output has dropped off precipitously, and nobody really has faith in the industry, and it's mostly due to the outputs of studios that were once great, like Rocksteady. Like, okay, cool. I don't really know like a good long-lasting VR game that outside of its initial release really captivates people. Like, even when it comes to certain VR-specific modes for Resident Evil, like, what is it, Village, that ended up having a VR mode, and some people like that, but I don't really know how many people return to it, or outside of what, Half-Life Alyx, or even, like, what's the replay value of that? It's like, once you go through it, then you just kind of get bad, or big depressed, because Half-Life 3 is never coming out, and that's the closest you're ever going to get to a continuation of that story. But VR is kind of like motion capture gameplay. It's kind of like the Kinect. It's kind of like the Wii. It's like, it's neat and it's nifty as a gimmick, but as a brand new platform, I don't really know if it's ever going to catch on, but at the same time, is it ever really going to die off? Don't really know. But Rocksteady, like I said before, man, like, they're definitely going to be dying off, because yeah, it's so funny. Well, they'll go ahead and announce this right now. Hey guys, brand new Arkham game. It's going to be out there. We're going to be seeing Batman finally after such a long delay. What is it, 2015? The last time we see Arkham Batman out there. Yeah, haven't seen him before because, well, after massive financial disaster, Rocksteady cutting back on support for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, even though they had 13 seasons in development. Now, was that 13 seasons and then they're split in half because we recently seen the Joker DLC come out, and that doing nothing for the floundering player base, and then teasers of Mrs. or Mr. now Mrs. Ms. X Freeze. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to end up working out, but that could end up being the final update, because yeah, if they're going to be pulling any money behind that because nobody's playing the damn game, well, if nobody's playing the game, then they end up cutting off support for it. Does it ever really get canceled? Don't know. I guess we're going to find out. A new report claims that Rocksteady is cutting back its support for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League after the game failed to attract an audience and could not sustain the few players that did purchase it. The report comes from Bloomberg. Oh, Jason Schreier. Keep that name in mind as we continue through this video. In the wake of the report he made claiming to reveal why the game was such a failure, Schreier indicated his initial report the game failed due to constantly shifting vision, a culture of rigid perfectionism, and a genre pivot that was ill-suited for the studio. Right. Never, like the actual output of the studio that's ever to blame. Same reason that they'll say, oh, Microsoft closing, Arcane, because they're more suited to a single-player narrative-based game, and they released that atrocious Redfall. Well, at the end of the day, guys, okay, it's kind of like how BioWare ended up having to put out Anthem and all of that stuff. Do you remember how studios used to be able to be multifaceted? How many different genres did Rare tackle back in the Super Nintendo N64 days? interplay used to be along the same lines, but there was a time where, regardless if that was within your comfort zone when it came to video game development, you would try your damnedest to put your best foot forward, knowing that it would A, reflect on the studio that you represent, and B, your name's going to be attached to this, so in the long term, it's going to end up affecting you. You can't just simply say, oh, we're not used to creating that. No, you're used to creating a video game, and you do it to the best of your abilities. You don't just blame everybody else for your own shortcomings. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League wasn't terrible just because it disrespected legacy DC characters. It was terrible from toes to titties, from the ground up. This was a blatant cash grab that was light on gameplay. It was soaked in modern dialogue tropes and everything that Rocksteady used to do well when it came to gameplay. It was completely vapid and vacant of that with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Like, yeah, the live service aspect of this might have failed, but people could have looked back on it and went, well, you know what, the story was all right, or, you know, the gameplay was fun. It's just, you know, I had my fill and I moved on. Things like that used to happen when it came to games, but no. This one sucked the entire way along. You didn't manage to do one aspect of this game correctly. That's on you as a studio. You can say anything you want. You guys completely and totally failed. But don't worry, guys. We got an Arkham VR game coming. Why would we give you the benefit of the doubt this time around? Of note, Schreier did not mention that Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam Curator list, which is the second most popular list on Steam with nearly 400,000 followers, or the ongoing boycott of AAA games called for by, Grum's Mark Kern in April. Yeah. No. It just failed because Rocksteady's not comfortable making live service games, and Rocksteady could also be shut down because Warner Brothers Discovery is a dumb company, but they can also count and do basic math, realizing that, yeah, you got a studio in your employ that is hemorrhaging money, and we're a company that is losing money hand over fist. If you're ravaged with cancer and you have a tumor on the surface of your skin, you cut that off to stem the problem, don't you? Warner Brothers Discovery discussing shuttering Rocksteady after Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League disaster. New rumor claims that Warner Brothers Discovery is having internal discussions about shutting down Rocksteady after developer Sweet Baby Inc. influenced Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game instantly became a financial failure and forced the company to take $200 million impairment in charge of the game. Yeah, and, you know, it's fair to point out Sweet Baby Inc.'s influence over this with the character writer, with some of the script choices, the foisting of Harley Quinn to the forefront, even though she is an insufferable character in just about every one of her iterations. It still doesn't excuse the atrocious game that you needed to play in order to experience these laughable characters. During the company's first quarter earnings results webcast, Chief Financial Officer Gunnar Weidenfels stated, starting with studios, the $400 million per year-over-year decline during quarter one was primarily due to a very tough competition we faced in games against the success of Hogwarts Legacy last year in the first quarter, in conjunction with a disappointing Suicide Squad release this past quarter, which we impaired, leading to a $200 million impact in EBITDA. There we go. During the first quarter, Weidenfels previously detailed during the company's fourth quarter 2023 earnings webcast. This year, Suicide Squad, one of our key video game releases in 2024, has fallen short of expectations since the release earlier in this quarter, setting our games business up for a tough year-over-year comparison in quarter one. So yeah, that's why they'll just probably go ahead and take any money that they were going to continue to throw at Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, try to put it behind any goodwill in a proper Arkham game that they can possibly get, but then also realize that they're hamstrung for the fact that it's an exclusive. It's a VR game, and it's an exclusive to a platform that's not really known for gaming. Like, if this was exclusive to Valve's VR, that would be one thing. PSVR 2, that would be another. But this is Meta, the former Oculus Rift. Good luck. But I said to make one note. Okay, earlier when we were talking about stupid Jason Schreier, former Kotaku EIC, big figure during the original Gamergate in 2014, an all-around scumbag of the industry. So Grums has put together a little list of the different things that Schreier was trying to say trying to use to deflect from the fact that Suicide Squad killed the Justice League was a woke disaster, but he'll never say that because Schreier, well, he's very much down with the sickness, if you will. Instead of asking why didn't Suicide Squad sell, Jason Schreier just digged for dirt on development delays. Well, yeah, of course. Oh, it was delayed. It's like, yeah, but the game still sucked. The writing was still atrocious, and oh yeah, Sweet Baby Inc. kills companies. Nobody cares about delays. They care about a good game to play that isn't DI infested, to the point where it trashes lore and ruins beloved characters like Batman. Exactly. If Jason really was a journalist for gamers, spoilers, he never has been, he would have written a different article. Jason has no idea what gamers think, because he had me and the entire swath of the gaming Twitter blocked for the past 10 years. Yeah, he was somebody who, even back in the cut, way back in the day, back when Screw Attack, okay, shout out, good old-fashioned Screw Attack, they were dunking on this hack even back then. I think he was one of the founding members, along with Stephen Totillo of Polygon. Like, this is how far and entrenched this guy is when it comes to shilling the message. He is completely in a bubble. But he didn't want to ask that question because when he would have had to talk to one of the 400,000 on Cabrutus's Sweet Baby Inc. detected list or his DEI detective website. Now, you know, the one he claims is imaginary. Oh yeah, right. The influence of Sweet Baby Inc., according to Jason Schreier and the Kotaku types. Sweet Baby Inc., you don't understand, okay? They've written how many articles about Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what you say it does, except for when you go and check and ask Sweet Baby Inc. what they do, then they tell you they do exactly what you think they do. But Jason Schreier, he knows better, okay? He's a straight white man, and he's going to tell you better because that's what good allies do. But this is also Jason Schreier, and this is something that, yeah, he's been doing for a long time, even back, 2013. That was, oh my god, that was Capcom's game, right? Jason Schreier has no problem blaming Japanese games, but says Sweet Baby Inc. is imaginary. Exactly. So-called journalist, a former Kotaku employer, claims that Suicide Squad killed the Justice League has nothing to do with DI practices. Same guy who insulted and attacked a respected Japanese developer known for games like Dragon's Crown. That was the game. That was the game with that witch characters, the side-scrolling beat-em-up, Dragon's Crown. I thought it ended up reviewing pretty well, and it was a pretty decent game, but I don't know how well it's aged. That was 2013 after all, but there's Jason Schreier being the same hack he's always been, simply because he created a busty character talking about, oh right, that was Atlas that put out Dragon's Crown. Game developers really need to stop letting teenage boys design their characters. No, Jason. You want out-of-touch, narcissistic black lesbians to design your games. You want Kim Bel-Air, who wants to force her own personal politics onto a video game, and if she doesn't get her way, she will, in her own words, blackmail the developers in order to get her own way. Those are the people that you want to side with, okay? Every single time that you think that people are going too hard on games journalists, all you need to do is just remind yourself who you're dealing with in these cases and realize that you don't hate games journalists enough. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.